Hi, my name is Beth and I'm going to show you how to make a dog bed with blanket tutorial. I have here the pieces cut out. Here is the pile of pieces, which I'll explain in a moment. And here is my paper model that I made beforehand just to make sure that I knew what I was doing and that everything worked. I found that to be helpful. This is the first time I'm making this, so bear with me. What I've done is I've created a circular piece of fabric that is approximately the size that I want for the pet bed. Now this is a bed made for rats, so of course it's scaled down. For dogs, of course, this would be much bigger. What I recommend is to measure the size of the dog and then add some seam allowances to make sure that when it's sewn it has some generous room for the dog to lay comfortably. Same thing with rats. So this piece right here determines the size of the finished blanket, and this is going to be the touchstone for everything else we go with. So that piece corresponds to this one. And the next piece in my pile deals directly with that first circle. What I did with the circle was, once I determined how wide it was, how big it was, I measured it across here for its diameter, and I got 10.5 inches. Your piece, of course, will be much bigger because it's for a dog. The circumference of a circle is diameter times pi. So here we have the diameter of 10.5. So if I multiply that by 3.14, I get approximately 33. So that's what I've done for the inches here. Now I made this just as wide as I wanted it. It's not really that wide. The seam allowances on each side will take up a significant amount of that too. So this is going to be a relatively shallow pet bed. If you wanted a plush one, you could make it deeper, of course. That's up to you, of course. But the length is important. What I've done is I've added a seam allowance on each end and then made it 33 inches. So it's actually 34 inches with my seam allowance. This next piece will be the bottom of the pet bed. Now this is a special piece and it's not quite done yet. As you can see, it's slightly bigger than the 10.5 inch diameter of the first one, and that's for a special reason. If I was just making this pet bed for rats, I wouldn't worry about this step, but since it's for dogs and it'll be much bigger, this is just a model. Since it's for dogs, what I'd like to do is I would like to make this into a pillow sham. So I'll cut this down the middle and make a seam on hem each raw edge, and then fold it over so that it will be essentially a pillow sham, so you'll be able to remove the batting and wash this in the washing machine. So this piece isn't done yet, but it's slightly larger. It's about a, let's say 5% larger than the first one. Maybe 10%. Let's go with 10%. Now this is the blanket that goes on top of the pet bed. I've got one piece that's the soft stuff, which will be in contact with the pet, and then this will be the cover piece. I'm going to sew these together first and make this my first part. What I have is a circular half moon, which is approximately the size of the bottom piece that I made. I only did half of each of one of those though, because they're not covering the whole pet bed. They'll be sort of like that. This is the fleece, or rather the stuffing that goes in the middle. You could put a piece of foam in there, whatever you have to make it, or even polyfill would work. To make your pet bed successful. So let's go ahead and get started here, and I'll show you my steps that I'm going to do to sew this, and let's hope it all works out because I haven't tested this. Okay, thanks. Hang on.